Seriously, before you scroll away, before you drop your change on the counter, and before you spend a single coin, check your pocket change. Some USA coins that look ordinary are actually worth hundreds, thousands, or even more. Rare US coins become valuable because of limited production, historical timing, and hidden minting errors most people never notice. Small details like unusual dates, mint marks, or mistakes in the strike can make a huge difference in value. Coins kept in better condition are always worth more, even if they are common at first glance. Valuable USA coins are still being found in daily change, old jars, and family collections. So slow down, look closely, and don't assume every coin is ordinary, because the next valuable US coin could already be in your pocket. The 1971 United States half dollar is one of the most important transition coins in American numismatic history, and many people still don't realize why this single year matters so much. If you've ever come across a 1971 Kennedy half dollar in your change, a coin jar, or an old collection, you may be holding a piece of history that represents the end of silver in U.S. circulating half dollars and the beginning of a completely new era for American coinage. Today, we're going to explore everything you need to know about the 1971 half dollar, including its history, composition, mint varieties, errors, values, and why collectors continue to search for high-quality examples. The Kennedy half dollar was introduced in 1964 as a tribute to President John F. Kennedy following his assassination in 1963. The coin was rushed into production due to overwhelming public demand, and the first issues were struck in 90% silver. However, rising silver prices and widespread hoarding soon forced the U.S. Mint to reduce the silver content. From 1965 through 1970, Kennedy half dollars were made with 40% silver, but by 1971, silver was completely removed from circulating half dollars altogether. This makes 1971 the very first year that the Kennedy half dollar was struck entirely in a copper-nickel-clad composition intended for everyday circulation. The obverse of the 1971 half dollar features the iconic portrait of John F. Kennedy designed by Gilroy Roberts. Kennedy faces left, with strong facial detail and a dignified expression that has become one of the most recognizable designs in modern American coinage. Along the edge of the obverse, you will find the word liberty, while the national motto "I in God we trust" appears split on either side of Kennedy's neck. The date 1971 is located at the bottom of the coin, and this date is especially significant because it marks the end of precious metal in circulating half dollars. On the reverse, the coin displays a powerful heraldic eagle holding an olive branch and arrows, symbolizing peace and strength. This design was created by Frank Gasparro and includes a shield on the eagle's chest, representing national unity. Above the eagle is a ring of stars, while United States of America and half dollars surround the design. This reverse remained in use for many years and is instantly recognizable to collectors and non-collectors alike. The 1971 Kennedy half dollar was produced at two different mints. Coins struck at the Philadelphia Mint carry no mint mark, while those produced at the Denver Mint feature a small D mint mark located just below Kennedy's neck on the obverse. No proof versions were struck for circulation in 1971, but special collector versions were produced separately, making standard circulation strikes the most commonly found examples today. Mintage numbers for the 1971 half dollar were extremely high, especially because the U.S. Mint was trying to reintroduce the half dollar into everyday use after years of hoarding. Philadelphia struck over 155 million coins, while Denver produced more than 234 million. These massive mintages mean that circulated examples are very common, but condition plays a huge role in determining value. While worn examples are usually worth face value, well-preserved coins can be far more desirable to collectors. One of the most important things collectors look for when evaluating a 1971 half dollar is overall condition. Because half dollars were heavily used in circulation during the early 1970s, many surviving examples show significant wear, especially on Kennedy's hair, cheek, and jawline. Coins with sharp details, strong luster, and minimal contact marks are far scarcer than the raw mintage numbers might suggest. High-quality examples stand out because they reflect careful handling or early removal from circulation. Another major area of interest of collectors is mint errors and striking varieties. The 1971 half dollar is known for several types of errors that can dramatically increase a coin's value. Off-center strikes are among the most visually striking errors, where part of the design is missing due to improper alignment during striking. These errors are highly collectible and often sell for many times face value, depending on how dramatic the misalignment is. Double die errors are another exciting possibility. These occur when the coin design is accidentally doubled during the die creation process, leading to noticeable doubling on letters, numbers, or design elements. On the 1971 half dollar, doubling may be visible on the date, the word liberty, or I in God we trust. Genuine doubled die examples are much scarcer than normal coins and are always in demand among error collectors. Clip planchette errors can also be found on 1971 half dollars. These occur when a portion of the metal blank is missing before the coin is struck, resulting in a curved or straight missing edge. These errors are easy to spot and are popular because they clearly show how coins are made and how mistakes can happen during the minting process. Another collectible error includes broad strikes, where the coin is struck outside of the retaining collar, causing it to spread out and appear larger and thinner than normal. These errors are especially interesting because they maintain a full design while clearly showing a minting mistake. The value of these error coins depends heavily on condition and eye appeal. When it comes to value, most circulated 1971 half dollars are worth face value, which is 50 cents. However, uncirculated examples can be worth significantly more, especially those with strong luster, clean surfaces, and sharp details. Coins that appear almost untouched by circulation often attract collector interest because they are much harder to find than worn examples. High-quality uncirculated coins can sell for several dollars, and premium examples can go even higher. Error coins and exceptional condition pieces are where the real value lies. A dramatic mint error or a beautifully preserved example can sell for tens or even hundreds of dollars, depending on rarity and demand. Collectors are always searching for standout coins that tell a story, and the 1971 half dollar offers many opportunities for discovery. From a historical perspective, the 1971 half dollar represents a major shift in U.S. monetary policy. It symbolizes a complete removal of silver from circulating coinage and reflects the economic pressures of the time. Rising metal prices, inflation, and changes in public behavior all contributed to the decision to move to clad coinage. Holding a 1971 half dollar is like holding a snapshot of the economic transformation. Despite being common in circulation, the 1971 Canada half dollar remains a favorite among collectors, especially beginners. It's affordable, widely available, and rich in history. Many collectors enjoy assembling date and mint mark sets, and the 1971 issue is an essential piece of that journey. It also serves as a reminder that even modern coins can become collectible when condition, rarity, and errors come into play. If you have a 1971 half dollar, it's always worth taking a closer look. Examine the surfaces carefully under good lighting. Look for unusual features, strong strikes, or anything that seems out of the ordinary. Even though millions were made, not all coins are created equal, and hidden gems still exist. In the end, the 1971 United States half dollar is far more than someone just starting out. This coin offers history, education, and the excitement of potential discovery every time you examine one. The 1984 D half dollar from the United States is a fascinating modern coin that many people overlook, yet it holds an important place in American coinage history. This coin belongs to the Kennedy half dollar series, one of the most recognizable and emotionally significant coins ever produced by the U.S. Mint. Even though the 1984 D half dollar is still commonly found in collections and occasionally in circulation, its background, design details, minting story, and potential value make it worth a closer look for collectors and everyday coin enthusiasts alike. The Canada half dollar was first introduced in 1964, shortly after the assassination of President John F. Kennedy. The coin was created as a tribute to the fallen president and quickly became one of the most collected coins in U.S. history. By the time the 1984 D half dollar was minted, the series had already been in production for 2 decades, and its composition, availability, and role in circulation had changed significantly compared to its early years. The 1984 D Kennedy half dollar was struck at the Denver Mint, which is indicated by the small D mint mark located on the obverse side of the coin. This mint mark tells collectors exactly where the coin was produced and plays a key role in determining rarity and value. Denver was one of the primary facilities responsible for producing circulating coinage during the 1980s, and millions of half dollars were struck there in 1984 to meet demand. One of the most important aspects of the 1984 D half dollar is its metal composition. Unlike the early Kennedy half dollars made with high silver content, the 1984 issue is composed of a copper-nickel clad structure. The outer layers are made of copper-nickel alloy, while the inner core is pure copper. This composition gives the coin its silver-like appearance without containing precious metal, which is a major reason why many people mistakenly assume it as silver value. Understanding this composition is essential for anyone evaluating the coin's worth. On the obverse side of the 1984 D half dollar, you will find a left-facing portrait of President John F. Kennedy. The design was created by Gilroy Roberts and remains one of the most iconic portraits in American numismatics. Kennedy's hair details, facial expression, and strong profile give the coin a dignified and timeless appearance. Around the edge of the obverse are the inscriptions "Liberty" and "In God We Trust," along with the date 1984. The Denver mint mark sits just to the right of Kennedy's neckline. The reverse side of the coin features a presidential seal, designed by Frank Gasparro. This powerful image includes a heraldic eagle with outstretched wings, holding arrows and an olive branch to symbolize strength and peace. Surrounding the eagle are stars representing the original states, and the inscriptions United States of America and half dollar. The reverse design adds depth and authority to the coin, and reflects the prestige associated with the Kennedy series. When it comes to mintage numbers, the 1984 D half dollar was produced in large quantities. Tens of millions of coins were struck at the Denver Mint that year, making it a common date in the series. Because of this high mintage, most circulated examples are not considered rare. However, condition plays a major role in determining value, and well-preserved coins can still attract attention from collectors. Circulated 1984 D half dollars are often found with signs such as flattened hair details, softened lettering, and surface marks from years of handling. These coins typically trade close to face value, making them affordable and accessible for new collectors. Despite their modest value, they remain popular as part of complete Kennedy half-dollar date and mint mark sets. Uncirculated examples of the 1984 D half dollar are more desirable. Coins that have never been used in everyday transactions retain sharper details, stronger luster, and cleaner surfaces. These characteristics can significantly increase the coin's appeal and value. Collectors often look for coins with minimal contact marks and bright, original mint luster. Another area of interest of collectors is mint errors and varieties. While the 1984 D half dollar is not widely known for major varieties, error coins do exist. These may include off-center strikes, double details, clip planches, or misaligned dies. Error coins are produced unintentionally during the minting process and can be worth significantly more than standard examples, depending on the type and severity of the error. Strike quality is another factor collectors consider. Some 1984 D half dollars may show weak strikes, especially in areas like Kennedy's hair or the eagle's feathers. Coins with stronger strikes and full details are generally more desirable and command higher premiums among collectors focused on quality. The historical context of the 1984 D half dollar also adds to its appeal. During the 1980s, half dollars were no longer commonly used in everyday transactions. Many people preferred smaller denominations, and half dollars began to fade from circulation. As a result, large numbers of these coins were saved by the public, which contributes to their availability today. Despite being a modern clad coin, the 1984 D Kennedy half dollar holds educational value for collectors. It represents an era when U.S. coinage had fully transitioned away from precious metals for circulating coins, reflecting economic and cultural changes in American society. Studying this coin helps collectors understand how coin production evolved over time. Collectors who focus on Kennedy half dollars often seek to complete full date and mint mark sets. The 1984 D is an essential part of such collections, and finding a high-quality example can be rewarding. Even though it may not be rare, it plays an important role in completing the historical timeline of the series. Storage and care are also important considerations. To preserve the condition of a 1984 D half dollar, it should be stored in a protective holder away from moisture, heat, and direct handling. Fingerprints and environmental exposure can reduce a coin's visual appeal and long-term value. The market value of the 1984 half dollar depends heavily on condition and demand. While most circulated coins remain close to face value, uncirculated examples and error coins can sell for higher prices. Values can fluctuate over time based on collector interest and market trends, making it important to stay informed. For beginners, the 1984 Kennedy half dollar is an excellent entry point into coin collecting. It is affordable, widely available, and rich in history. For experienced collectors, it offers opportunities to search for high-quality examples, errors, and well-struck coins that stand out from the average. This coin also appeals to those who enjoy roll searching. Searching through rolls of half dollars can occasionally yield well-preserved 1984 examples or interesting varieties. The thrill of discovery keeps many collectors engaged with this series year after year. In the broader context of UsCoinX, the 1984 half dollar may not be a headline-grabbing rarity, but it remains a meaningful piece of American history. Its design honors a beloved president. Its production reflects changing economic realities, and its continued popularity shows a lasting appeal of the Kennedy series. As time passes, interest in modern coin continues to grow. Coins like the 1984 Kennedy half dollar are gaining recognition as important representatives of their era. Before you skip this video, take a moment and think about the loose change sitting in your drawer, your wallet, or an old coin jar at home. That everyday coin you've ignored for years could actually be a 1974 United States half dollar, a coin with a fascinating history, surprising varieties, and collectible value that many people overlook. Today, we're going deep into the story, value, rarity, errors, and hidden potential of the 1974 Kennedy half dollar, a coin that still circulates but carries far more importance than most people realize. The 1974 half dollar is part of the iconic Kennedy half dollar series, first introduced in 1964 to honor President John F. Kennedy after his assassination. By 1974, the coin had already gone through major changes, especially in metal composition. Unlike the earlier 1964 Kennedy half dollar, which was made of 90% silver, and the 1965 to 1970 issues that contained 40% silver, the 1974 half dollar is composed entirely of copper and nickel. This shift marked a new era in UsCoinX, reflecting rising silver prices and changes in minting policy. Even though the 1974 half dollar contains no silver, that doesn't mean it's worthless. In fact, it remains one of the most collected modern half dollars because of its massive mintage, historical relevance, mint varieties, and era potential. The coin features a familiar left-facing portrait of President John F. Kennedy on the obverse, designed by Gilroy Roberts. Around the portrait, you'll see the word Liberty along the top edge, with "In God We Trust" placed just below Kennedy's chin, and the date 1974 clearly visible at the bottom. On the reverse side, the coin displays a presidential seal, featuring a powerful heraldic eagle holding an olive branch and arrows, symbolizing peace and strength. Surrounding the eagle are stars representing the states of the Union, along with the inscriptions United States of America and half dollar. This bold design makes the Kennedy half dollar one of the most recognizable U.S. coins ever produced. In 1974, the United States Mint struck half dollars at two locations, Philadelphia and Denver. The Philadelphia issue carries no mint mark, while the Denver issue features a small D mint mark just below Kennedy's neck on the obverse. Both versions were produced in extremely large numbers. The Philadelphia Mint struck over 201 million coins, while the Denver Mint produced more than 79 million. With numbers this high, you might assume the coin has no value beyond face value, but that assumption would be a mistake. Most circulated 1974 half dollars are indeed worth 50 cents to $1, mainly due to their copper-nickel composition. However, condition plays a massive role in value. Coins that were never circulated, especially those with sharp details, strong luster, and clean surfaces, can command significantly higher prices. Collectors are always searching for examples that look as close as possible to the day they left the mint. One of the biggest reasons collectors still hunt for the 1974 half dollar is because of its error coins. Mint errors can dramatically increase the value of an otherwise common coin. For example, off-center strikes occur when the coin blank isn't properly aligned during the minting process. These errors can range from slightly off-center to dramatically misaligned, and the more visible the error, the more desirable it becomes. Another valuable error to watch for is the double die variety. This happens when the coin design is impressed onto the die more than once at slightly different angles, causing doubling in letters, numbers, or design elements. On a 1974 half dollar, doubling may appear on the word liberty, the date, or in God we trust. These double details are not damage or wear. They are mint-created errors that collectors pay close attention to. Clip planches are another fascinating error found on some 1974 half dollars. These occur when the metal strip used to punch coin blanks isn't fed correctly, resulting in a coin with a curved or straight missing section. While small clips may add modest value, large or dramatic clips can be worth many times a coin's face value. There are also strike-through errors, where foreign materials such as grease or debris get between the die and the coin blank during striking. This can cause missing or distorted design elements. Each strike-through error is unique, making these coins especially appealing to collectors who enjoy one-of-a-kind pieces. Beyond errors, collectors also focus heavily on condition rarity. Because half dollars were not commonly used in everyday transactions by the 1970s, many were saved in rolls or sets. However, truly flawless examples are still difficult to find. Coins with strong mint luster, no contact marks, and full detail on Kennedy's hair and the eagle's feathers are especially desirable. The 1974 half dollar also holds importance for collectors building complete Kennedy half dollar date and mint mark sets. Even common coins become essential when completing collection, and demand stays consistent as new collectors enter the hobby every year. This steady demand helps support the coin's market value, even decades after it was minted. Another interesting aspect of the 1974 half dollar is its role in American economic history. By the mid-1970s, inflation and metal price fluctuations were reshaping U.S. coinage. The half dollar itself was slowly disappearing from circulation, not because it was rare, but because people simply didn't use it. This makes the 1974 issue a symbol of a denomination transitioning from everyday money to a collectible item. Many people still come across 1974 half dollars in bankrolls, estate collections, or inherited coin jars. Unfortunately, countless examples are spent without a second thought. That's why it's important to check every half dollar you find. Look closely at the mint mark, examine the surfaces for unusual features, and pay attention to weight, alignment, and strike quality. Even though silver is often what draws people to coin collecting, modern coins like the 1974 half dollar prove that value isn't always about precious metal. Rarity, condition, historical significance, and mint errors all play critical roles. Some error examples have sold for hundreds or even thousands of dollars, depending on their uniqueness and preservation. The popularity of Kennedy half dollars continues to grow, especially among new collectors who appreciate their size, design, and historical meaning. The 1974 issue is often one of the first coins people examine when learning how to identify varieties and errors, making it an excellent educational coin as well as a collectible one. If you're holding a 1974 half dollar right now, don't rush to dismiss it. Clean, well-preserved coins should never be altered or polished, as this can reduce collector value. Instead, store them safely, handle them by the edges, and take time to learn what makes your coin unique. As interest in U.S. coin collecting continues to rise, coins like the 1974 Kennedy half dollar are gaining renewed attention. What was once seen as a common, overlooked coin is now recognized as an important piece of American numismatic history. Whether you're a seasoned collector or someone just starting out, this coin offers an accessible and fascinating entry point into the world of coin collecting. So the next time you see a half dollar, stop and take it discovered. Keep checking your change. Stay curious. And remember that sometimes the most valuable coins are the ones hiding in plain sight. Before you scroll, before you spend your loose change, take a second and really listen, because one ordinary-looking half dollar from 1980 could be hiding a much more interesting story than you expect. Today we're diving deep into the 1980 United States half dollar, a coin that many people overlook, yet it plays a crucial role in American coin history, collector demand, and modern-era coin values. This is not just a coin, it's a snapshot of America during a time of economic change, inflation fears, and shifting metal compositions. The 1980 half dollar was struck at the Denver Mint and features the iconic John F. Kennedy design that Americans instantly recognize. By 1980, The Canada half dollar had already been in circulation for more than 15 years, first introduced in 1964 to honor the late president after his assassination. While early Canada half dollars contained silver, the 1980D version marks a completely different chapter in the series, one defined by copper-nickel composition and mass production during a period when half dollars were slowly disappearing from everyday circulation. This coin has a face value of 50 cents, but its real story goes far beyond that. The Obos features a left-facing portrait of President John F. Kennedy, designed by Gilroy Roberts. The detail in Kennedy's hair, the sharpness of the facial features, and the strong profile make this one of the most admired portraits in U.S. coinage. Around the edge, you'll find the word liberty, the national motto "I in God we trust," and the date 1980 clearly displayed. A small D mint mark appears just above the date, identifying it as a Denver Mint issue. On the reverse, the coin displays a presidential coat of arms, an eagle holding arrows and an olive branch, symbolizing strength and peace. The shield on the eagle's chest represents protection and unity, while the ring of stars reflects the states of the Union. The inscriptions United States of America and half dollar complete the design, giving the coin a balanced and authoritative appearance that has remained unchanged for decades. Now let's talk about composition, because this is where many collectors either lose interest or suddenly become curious. The 1980D half dollar is made of a copper-nickel clad composition, with an outer layer of 75% copper and 25% nickel bonded to a pure copper core. This change happened after 1970, when silver was fully removed from circulating half dollars. While that means there is no silver value here, it also places a coin firmly in the modern collectible category, where condition, rarity within high grades, and errors become extremely important. The Denver Mint produced a large number of half dollars in 1980, with mintage figures exceeding 40 million coins. At first glance, that may sound like the coin is extremely common, and in lower circulated condition, it often is. Many examples can still be found today in coin jars, bankrolls, and inherited collections. However, what most people don't realize is that high-quality examples of the 1980D half dollar are far scarcer than the mintage numbers suggest. By 1980, half dollars were no longer widely used in everyday transactions. Vending machines didn't accept them, cash registers rarely had slots for them, and banks stopped ordering them in large quantities. As a result, many 1980D half dollars went straight into storage or were mishandled during production, leading to contact marks, weak strikes, and surface issues. Finding a sharply struck, clean example today is much harder than most people expect. Condition is everything when it comes to the value of the 1980D half dollar. In worn or circulated condition, the coin usually trades close to face value. However, coins that show strong luster, minimal marks, sharp details, and full design elements can command significantly higher premiums among collectors. This is especially true for examples that appear untouched, with original mint shine and no signs of heavy handling. Another area that adds excitement to the 1980D half dollar is error coins. Errors are one of the biggest reasons modern coins suddenly jump in value, and the Denver Mint was no exception in 1980. Collectors actively search for off-center strikes, clipped planches, double design elements, and misaligned layers in clad coins. Even small errors can turn an otherwise common half dollar into a highly desirable collectible. One of the most talked about issues with 1980D half dollars involves weak strikes, particularly on Kennedy's hair and the eagle's feathers. While technically not an error, strong strikes are harder to find and more valuable to collectors who want premium examples. Coins with unusually sharp hair detail and full feather separation on the reverse stand out immediately when compared side by side with average examples. The historical context of the 1980D half dollar also plays a big role in its appeal. The year 1980 was a turbulent time in the United States, marked by high inflation, rising interest rates, and economic uncertainty. Coinage during this period reflects cost-cutting measures and high-speed production, which often sacrifice quality for quantity. That makes well-preserved coins from this era more interesting and more challenging to locate today. Collectors who specialize in Kennedy half dollars often aim to complete full date and mint mark sets, and the 1980D is a required piece in any comprehensive collection. While it may not be the rarest coin in the series, it represents an important transitional period when half dollars shifted from circulation to collector interest. If you're checking your own coins, pay close attention to the edge. A solid copper color visible on the edge confirms a copper-nickel clad composition. Also examine the fields, the flat areas of the coin, for scratches, dullness, or signs of cleaning. Original surfaces with natural luster are far more desirable than coins that have been polished or altered. Storage also matters. Coins stored loose in drawers or jars often develop marks over time, while coins kept in protected holders tend to retain their quality. Even a small improvement in condition can make a noticeable difference in collector interest and long-term value. The 1980 half dollar may not be a silver treasure, but it is a sleeper coin that rewards careful inspection. Many people dismiss modern half dollars entirely, yet dedicated collectors know that today's overlooked coins often become tomorrow's sought-after pieces. As fewer high-quality examples survive, demand quietly increases among those building complete sets or hunting for standout examples. What makes this coin especially appealing for beginners is accessibility. You don't need a massive budget to start searching for high-quality 1980 half dollars. Roll hunting, estate collections, and old bank holdings are still viable sources. And because the face value is relatively high compared to cents or dimes, many people save them away without realizing their potential. In the broader world of U.S. coin collecting, the Kennedy half dollar series remains one of the most popular and emotionally significant. The 1980 issue may seem ordinary at first glance, but it carries decades of history, economic change, and collector passion within its metal layers. So the next time you come across a half dollar dated 1980 with a small D mint mark, don't ignore it. Take a closer look. Check the details. Value isn't always about precious metals. Sometimes it's about condition, context, and the hidden potential sitting quietly in plain sight. Before you scroll away, stop for a moment and think about this. That half dollar sitting in a drawer, a coin jar, or a forgotten box could be one of the most historic coins ever released by the United States. Today we're talking about the legendary 1776 to 1976 United States half dollar, also known as a bicentennial Kennedy half dollar, a coin that celebrates 200 years of American independence and remains one of the most collected coins in U.S. history. The 1776 to 1976 half dollar was not made in the year 1776. Instead, it was issued in 1975 and 1976 to commemorate the 200th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence. What makes this coin instantly recognizable is that every single bicentennial half dollar carries the dual date 1776 to 1976, something no other regular U.S. coin has ever done before or since. This special half dollar features a familiar portrait of President John F. Kennedy on the front, a design originally introduced in 1964 after his assassination. The back of the coin, however, was completely redesigned for the bicentennial celebration. Instead of the traditional eagle, the reverse shows Independence Hall, the historic building in Philadelphia where America's founders debated and signed the Declaration of Independence. This reverse design was created by Seth G. Huntington, whose initials appeared discreetly on the coin. The bicentennial half dollar was struck at 3 U.S. mint locations: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Coins from Philadelphia carry no mint mark, Denver coins show a D, and San Francisco coins feature an S mint mark. Each mint produced different versions, and this is where things start to get interesting for collectors. Philadelphia and Denver produced bicentennial half dollars primarily for circulation, meaning these coins were intended to be used in everyday commerce. San Francisco, on the other hand, produced special collector versions, including both proof coins and 40% silver coins. This is a critical detail, because not all 1776 to 1976 half dollars are made of silver. Most bicentennial half dollars you'll find in pocket change are clad coins made of copper and nickel. However, the San Francisco Mint also issued 40% silver versions, sold directly to collectors in special government packaging. These silver coins were never meant for circulation, which makes them more desirable today. Another important detail many people overlook is that bicentennial half dollars were struck in very large numbers. Over 500 million coins were produced across all mints. Because of this high mintage, most circulated examples are still fairly common today. But rarity is not just about mintage numbers. Condition, mint mark, metal content, and errors all play a huge role in determining value. In circulated condition, a standard clad bicentennial half dollar is usually worth face value. meaning 50 cents. However, coins in uncirculated condition can be worth more, especially if they show strong luster, clean surfaces, and sharp details. Collector demand increases significantly for coins that appear untouched by circulation. The 40% silver bicentennial half dollars are where value begins to rise more noticeably. These coins contain real silver, which give them intrinsic metal value in addition to collector appeal. Even worn examples are worth more than face value simply because of their silver content. Proof bicentennial half dollars, especially those struck in San Francisco, are another popular category. Proof coins are made using specially prepared dies and planchets, resulting in mirror-like fields and frosted details. These coins were never meant for circulation and were sold directly to collectors. Well-preserved proof examples are widely collected and remain in steady demand. Beyond standard issues, collectors actively search for errors and varieties among bicentennial half dollars. Some known errors include doubled lettering, off-center strikes, clip planchets, and weak strikes. While major errors are rare, when they are found, they can dramatically increase a coin's value. One of the reasons the 1776 to 1976 half dollar remains so popular is its historical significance. It represents a once-in-a-lifetime celebration of American independence. Unlike most commemorative coins, this one was released into everyday circulation, allowing millions of Americans to hold a piece of history in their hands. Despite being over 4 decades old, bicentennial half dollars still surface in bankrolls, estate collections, and old savings jars. Many people saved these coins when they were released, believing they would become extremely valuable in the future. While most are not rare today, certain examples still stand out and are worth holding on to. Collectors often seek bicentennial half dollars with strong strikes, original luster, and minimal marks. Coins that have never been cleaned or damaged tend to perform better in the collector market. Original surfaces are always preferred over polished or altered coins. Another factor affecting value is how the coin was stored. Coins kept in protective packaging or coin holders generally retain better condition than those stored loosely in drawers or jars. Even small differences in preservation can make a noticeable difference over time. The bicentennial half dollar also holds appeal beyond coin collectors. History enthusiasts, patriotic collectors, and people who enjoy American memorabilia often add these coins to their collections. This broad interest helps keep demand strong decades after their release. While these coins may not make everyone rich, they remain an essential part of U.S. coinage history. They symbolize unity, independence, and a moment when the entire nation paused to celebrate its past. If you find a 1776 to 1976 half dollar, the first thing to check is the mint mark. Then consider whether the coin has a silver edge or a copper stripe, which helps identify whether it's a silver or clad version. Examine the surfaces closely for unusual details, errors, or exceptionally sharp strikes. Even if your coin turns out to be common, it still holds educational and historical value. Coins like this are reminders that money is more than just currency. It's a record of the nation that created it. As time passes, interest in bicentennial coins continues to grow, especially as younger collectors discover them. Their iconic dual date and unique reverse design ensure they will always stand out among U.S. half dollars. So the next time you come across a half dollar dated 1776 to 1976, don't ignore it. Take a closer look. You might be holding a silver issue, a proof coin, or even a rare error that sets it apart from the millions of others produced.